Good morning, students. Today is the week 8, and we are going to finish the most important chapter. It's about attitude. The intended learning outcomes I list 4 here. We have got 4 goals for this chapter. The first one is what is attitude. Second one is what is attitude formed and how to change people's behavior and attitude. And furthermore, classical and operant experiments with behavior will also be included in this chapter. So we will begin. What is the attitude? From this slide, you can see every day we know we have different attitude toward different objects, different people. So what is attitude? Attitude actually is a learned and stable and enduring and can be positive or negative evaluation of people, objects, or ideas. So we know attitudes can be learned, and it's not in a sudden. Actually, is a period of time. So here called enduring. Enduring is last for some time, but still can be changed. That later on we will introduce how to change people's attitude. So furthermore, today the system about Zoom is not working properly somehow. Okay. So attitudes can be included 3 parts according to several researchers. They are cognitive-based attitude, or affective-based attitude. Final one is behavioral intention attitude. So I'm going to introduce each one of them for you. The first one, called the cognitive-based attitude, is about an attitude based primarily on people's beliefs about the properties of an object. For example, when we decide we like or dislike something, actually is not based on your feelings. Often you will analyze the situation or the tangible numbers or evidence of the objects. Then this type of attitude we called cognitive based attitude. For example, if we want to select a holiday, we may want to choose a travel agent, which is verified by the tourism bureau, the government tourism bureau. So therefore, actually you can see they have the register number and all other maybe other evidence like the past travelers' comments. This kind of analysis, we will say this attitude will be cognitive-based attitude. The second one is actively based attitude. It's an attitude based on more on people's feelings and values than on their beliefs. Compared to the cognitive-based, normally people's preferences based on the nature of an object. Sometimes, you ask people's opinion or their preferences, they will not really analyze the evidence. Well, only based on the feelings, like we say, how do you feel? How do you think of the person? And in particular, the first impression, often, you will only judge based on the feelings. And so applied to the tourism scenario, we say, often we decide travel like a holiday, maybe you will not consider much information apart from like you only when you watching a TV program and then you have seen this scenario, and so you like to take those scenarios as your choice. So therefore, a lot of people, going for holidays based on the programs or the movie stars they like. So this is the affectively based attitude. So this approach has been manipulated by many marketing, companies. And now here, I got one exercise for you. So, this exercise provided a text, and then you can, according to this content, and I would like you to analyze the components of attitude based on these three components, including affection and cognition and the behavioral intention. So the content is about, I love playing tennis because it involves the running, and I believe it helps me lose weight. So I plan to play tennis 3 times a week. So we can see the important word like love is more like emotional phrase or word. So this will be like affective base. And the second sentence, like I believe is kind of a value. So this is more like cognitive based attitude. And the final one, I plan to play tennis 3 times a week. Plan is like intention, what they want to do. So according to this content, I'm hoping you will comprehend about the attitude 3 components more. Any questions so far? Am I speak too fast to you? Okay, thank you. Now, I got some more exercise for you. Sometimes, we say, are you a cognitive-based a person or you are affective-based person? Sometimes people often will say, depends on what sort of the items. So how can we tell if an attitude is more affectively or cognitively based? So maybe here got the one exercise for you. Please circle the number on each scale that best describes your feelings toward a place. So often here, you can see we have several adjectives to describe the place. So what do you think when you describing a place? What sort of the adjective you often will use? Will you say you hate, the place is hateful or acceptable? Will you say the place is tense or calm? Or will you say the place is sad or the place is enjoyable? There is no right or wrong answer. So yeah, anyway, I guess maybe people have different, different attitude approach according to different type of items. So yeah, you are not afraid of answering your own value. You don't need to worry about other people's answer. Okay, another exercise is about the traits of characteristics of the hotel A. So if I ask you to describe the hotel, and you have known about the traits or characteristics, here we got several also several adjectives like harmful, beneficial, useless, or useful, or unsafe, or safe. Okay, so maybe I guess the most of people will answer regarding to hotel will be like a safe or unsafe. Okay, so we all this the exercising just showing us actually we apply different approaches to different objects. Normally, when we apply the affectively based attitudes, or maybe like they do not result from a rational examination of the issues. So you will not take a rational consideration toward this type of item, or are not governed by logic. You were not doing logical analysis, are often linked to people's values only. Okay, so yeah, this is the basic distinction of affectively based or cognitive based attitude. Furthermore, we are going to introduce the behavioral based attitude, also called predisposition, because this is not actually behavior. This is like a tendency that you are planning to do, but at the end, whether you do it or not is another matter. Okay, so it's an attitude based on observation of how one behaves toward an attitude object. You do not know how you feel toward the object until you see how you behave. So regarding behavioral-based attitude, I will introduce the relevant theory called the self-perception theory. This theory proposed by Ben. And this is about people developed attitudes by observing behaviors. Maybe the behaviors were a new experience, or a person's attitude weren't completely formed before the behavior occurred. So here, I give one example for you to understand. Like before we walk into a room and looking in the mirror and smile, it does not matter if it's a fake smile or true smile, as long as the smile for long enough and your mood will start to improve it. So this is the, different from the prior slides often introduce the attitude impact behavior. So this is the in the opposite direction. After behavior, then form your attitude. So I will get more example for you. Often you will have experienced a salesperson and come to knock your door and ask, they want to try to sell you something, but often we will not accept at the beginning. So the salesperson just ask, is that possible, coming and just short period of time and chat. So you will often, this is the small favor, and we will say, okay, yes, just come in anyway. I'm not going to buy it. But As the conversation continues, the salesperson slowly climbs up and the customer agrees to checking out the product. After you feel like, anyway, just checking anyway. So you will agree, you will say yes. And then later on, after checking, you will say, well, there is no harm if tried on. So then maybe you say yes, sign up for a trial. So even though the customer originally did not want to make a purchase. So this is something, after the behavior. The behavior is not, actually it is before your attitude, right? So your attitude didn't want to buy it at the beginning, but after, until you have been convinced by the salesperson, then you make a final purchase, or at least, intention, perhaps to buy. So this is the, so-called self-perception theory. And actually, there was a survey, there was an experiment about this. Ben asked participants to listen to one of the two scenarios. One scenario in which a man gave a false testimony for $1, like pay, receive $1 and to give a false testimony. And the other scenario in which the man gave a false testimony but pay more, like $20. And further, later on, the participants were asked to assess the man's attitude toward lying. So actually more likely to believe that the man lied because he enjoyed lying is because he was paid less and he must have actually enjoyed it more. So when people receive pay less and they're still doing it, it indicates the person enjoy doing it. Okay, so this is after behavior, and we evaluate what the attitude is. Apart from self-perception theory, there is another cognitive dissonance. It's very relevant to this as well. And what is cognitive dissonance is a situation like people, when they perceive that attitudes are inconsistent with behavior. So, sometimes you think something but doing something else. So you will feel, when you will conflict with yourself, you feel uncomfortable. And so what happens if you feel uncomfortable? People might go to considerable efforts to justify their behavior in order to reduce the tension they feel. So, for example, you have been told smoking is not good. So you have the attitude, smoking is bad. But why? After you still smoke, you smoke because you will justify smoking is okay. You don't smoke much, and occasionally just for a social, social purpose. Or smoking not much is not harmful to your health. There are so many people living quite long, even though they smoke for their lifetime. So this is something you try to justify your behavior, to reduce the tension of the feeling. Another vivid example, we heard people prophesied the doomsday. Doomsday is 世界末日预言. And so when you heard the people say there is a flooding coming to destroy the earth, but after the date occurred, but appear, the flood did not come, right? So what will you justify, the behavior? So here, mention about two situations. One is like those people who commit very little, like more likely to recognize that they had been foolish and tricked by the cult. Cult is like 密教, 密宗. Okay, so people will say, okay, they are just superstitions, so they will not trust them again. But there are some people, like those people, those members in particular, they leaving jobs and selling houses to avoid this disaster. So more likely after the doomsday didn't come, they tend to interpret the evidence. Their faithfulness was what caused the flood didn't happen. Like they justify themselves because they pray. So the pray did take works effectively, so the flood didn't come. So this is the summary diagram showing when attitude consistent with the behavior. So you don't need to feel like a discomfort. But when attitude has different with the behavior, so you will have discomfort. And then what the actions you will take. One is changing your attitude or change behavior, or developing new attitude to justify your contradiction between attitude and behavior. Okay, 3 approaches likely when you have the disagreement with your attitude and behavior. Okay, so far, this is the about attitude and the 3 components of attitude. And also, we also introduced the relevant theory related to attitude or behavior, like self-perception theory and, cognitive difference. We call cognitive dissonance. Okay, so far, do you still follow me? Okay, very good. Okay, so if you are okay, now I'm going to shift to the how to change people's behavior. We know people's behavior can be changed. So now I'm going to introduce several approaches how we can change people's behavior. Okay, so we may take a break, and then later on we will continue this issue. Thank you for your listening.